இதுல வந்து கேப்ஷன்ஸ் இருக்காது. அதனால ஆனா வந்து என்னால ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ண முடியும். நெறைய பேர் வரலனால வந்து நான் ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணணும்னு பார்க்குறேன். அப்ப வந்து பீப்பிளால பார்க்க முடியும்ன்றதுக்காக. அதனால நான் மெதுவா பேசுறேன். ஓகே?
சரி அக்கா.
Okay. So let me actually share my screen. We can start.
ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டானா அப்படியே?
Got it?
வைபவ்.
Wait, let's see.
இதான் அவங்களோட நம்பர் அவங்களே
ஓகே, ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியுதா எல்லாருக்கும்?
சரி.
தெரியுது.
Okay. Okay. So last week we stopped at not last week, yesterday we stopped at talking about intonation, how intonation changes the way a sentence is understood by people. Like even if it's the same sentence, if you emphasize different parts of the sentence, it can mean something completely different. Okay, so லாஸ்ட் வீக் நேற்று வந்து நம்ம அதை லேர்ன் பண்ணோம். டிஃப்ரெண்ட் பார்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் த சென்டென்ஸ் வந்து நம்ம எம்ஃபசைஸ் பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா வந்து டிஃப்ரெண்ட் மீனிங் இருக்கும். இப்போ வந்து நம்ம ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் வந்து the word pretty, like if you emphasize the word pretty, if I'm saying it's pretty good, if I say that, that means it's actually that whatever I was talking about was very good. But if I were to say it was pretty good, pretty வந்து நம்ம emphasize பண்ணோம்னா it might mean, oh, it was not that good, it was not good, it's bad. அந்த மாதிரி. So வந்து intonation வந்து whatever parts of the sentences we emphasize, it could give a different meaning. It gives emotion to the sentence. அதான் பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தோம். இப்போ வந்து எனக்கு என்னன்னா வந்து intonation with nouns and verbs. So வந்து ஒரு சைடுல வந்து நான் வந்து I have kept the nouns, the other side I have kept the verbs, right? I want to ask you guys, how would you pronounce the first word under the noun? Can someone answer?
Can you please repeat this?
This word right here. Can you pronounce it? Someone?
Yeah, an action.
Okay. And then how would you pronounce this word?
To action.
Okay. So the difference between a noun and a verb when you say a word in American accent is when you say the noun, you want to emphasize the first part of the word. But when you emphasize a verb, you have to emphasize the second part of the word. So for example, for this, you would say an accent. Can you repeat after everyone? Can you repeat after me? An accent.
An accent.
An accent, right? But the verb, you would say to accent. To accent. Can you repeat?
Accent.
To accent.
To accent.
So வந்து இப்போ என்ன சொல்றேன்னா நவுனுக்கு வந்து இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மூணு letters ACC you have to emphasize those words. Accent. You would say accent. But for the verb, you would say accent. Accent. You would emphasize the ending of that word. An accent to accent. An accent to accent. So that's the difference between a noun and a verb. When you're saying a noun, even though they're the same words, ரெண்டுமே வந்து ஒரே மாதிரி ஸ்பெல் ஆயிருக்கு, ஒரே மாதிரி ரெண்டுமே ஒரே word இல்லையா? But one of them is a noun, the other is a verb. If it's a noun, then you have to emphasize the beginning, accent. But if it's a verb, you would say accent, scent, right? A noun, you would say accent, a verb, accent. So the second word, you have, when you say it as a noun, you would say a concert, a concert. You would emphasize the beginning, concert. But the second part, when you say it as a verb, you would say to concert, to concert, concert, concert. A concert to concert. Can you repeat after me? A concert.
A concert.
And then you would say to concert.
To concert.
Concert.
Correct. So a noun, you would emphasize the beginning, but for a verb, you would emphasize the end, right? So let's try the third one. How would you say this word as a noun? Can someone answer?
A conflict.
A conflict.
Yes. A conflict. Conflict. You would emphasize on the conflict. Can someone say it? Actually, everyone say it. Conflict.
Conflict. Conflict.
Correct.
Conflict.
Yes. Conflict. But when you say it as a verb, you would say conflict. Conflict.
Conflict.
Conflict. A conflict. A conflict. A conflict. A conflict. Okay. So let's do number 4. Someone say this word. CONTEST.
A contest.
Yes. Correct.
A contest.
Yes. A contest. You have to emphasize on the
To
con. And then if it's a verb, I think Otto said it. It's to contest. A contest to contest. So if I am competing, if I'm going to a contest, I would say, oh, I'm going to a contest to contest against other students. நான் வந்து ஒரு கான்டெஸ்ட்டுக்கு போறேன், வேற ஸ்டூடெண்டோட நான் வந்து அந்த கான்செப்ட்ல நான் கான்டெஸ்ட்ல நான் பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணும்போது I would say I'm going to a contest to contest with other students. I'm going to a contest to contest with other students. Okay, so the next one, let's see. Let me pick one of you. Sarah, could you do which one is it? The fifth one, the fifth word.
A record.
Yes, it's not a record, it's a record. Record. Can everyone say a record?
A record.
A record. இது வந்து இப்போ வந்து RECORD, right? You want to emphasize the first part. A record. Record. Okay, can you repeat after me?
Record.
Record.
A record.
Correct. A record. You want to emphasize the beginning because it's a noun, right? So you would want to emphasize RE. But now, if it's a verb, then you would say to record. To record. Can everyone say it?
To record.
To record. Correct. Now, if you say the next one, let's see. Vinochin, can you say it?
Contrast.
Oh, who said it? Who said it?
Vinochan.
Okay. The next one, contrast. How would you say that as a noun? And Vinochin, you can go.
Can I say it?
Yes. Go ahead.
A contrast.
Yeah. It's yes. So you would say it as, wait, someone just joined. Who is it? Oh, hi.
Hi.
Okay. So இப்போ நாங்க என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம்னா இவ்வளவு நாள் வந்து இன்டனேஷனா என்ன அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன் நான். இன்டனேஷனா என்னன்னா வந்து ஒரு சென்டென்ஸ் இருக்கும் போது ஒரு சென்டென்ஸ் சொல்லும்போது சில பார்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் த சென்டென்ஸ் வந்து நீ எம்பசைஸ் பண்ணும். ஓகே, American accent, or if you want to speak in a style, then you will want to emphasize certain parts of a sentence. Okay, so now we're looking at nouns and verbs, and I'm explaining to everyone how you would say if I'm giving you a noun, I'm trying to explain how you would say the noun, and if I'm giving you a verb, I'm trying to explain how you would say the verb. So if you were given a noun, for example, I think we were in the contrast. A contrast. So if it's a noun, beginning வந்து நீ emphasize பண்ணும், கொஞ்சம் ஸ்ட்ராங்கா சொல்லும். இப்போ வந்து CONTRAST, you have to emphasize, or you have to make sure it's pronounced better. So the word CONTRAST as a noun, you would say contrast. Contrast. But if it's a verb, then you would say to contrast. To contrast. Everyone repeat after me. When it's a noun, you would say a contrast.
A contrast.
Correct. If it's a verb, you would say to contrast.
To contrast.
Contrast.
Yes. To contrast. Okay. Next word. Let's see. Vaibhav, can you do the next word? This one right here. How would you say that word? Yes. So normally Indians would say that, but in an American accent, what you would do is you want to emphasize the beginning. A convert. A convert. If it's a noun, you would say a convert. Can everyone repeat? Convert.
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 Convert. Right?
Convert.
Yes. So whenever I'm asking you guys to repeat after me, make sure you repeat after me. நான் சொல்லும்போது நீங்க பண்ணாதான் வந்து உங்களுக்கு புரியும் என்ன சொல்றேன். Okay. So வந்து a convert, if it's a noun, it's a convert. But if it's a verb, you would say to convert. To convert. To convert. Can you repeat? To convert. Repeat after me.
To convert.
Convert.
To convert.
Yes.
Convert.
Yes. Right. Okay. Next word is Kavya, could you do the next word? Okay, I'm not sure if she's here. Let's see. Shervin, could you do the next word?
Convict.
Correct.
A convict.
That was correct. That was perfect. A convict. A convict. Right. Now, how would you say the verb, Shervin?
To convict.
Yes, that was beautiful. That was correct. To convict. A convict to convict. A convict to convict. Okay, next word is a default. A default. Can you repeat it? A default. Everyone repeat it.
A default.
A default.
Correct. A default. The next, but when you say it as a verb, you want to emphasize the ending. To default. To default. To default. I said, Vinochan, are you raising your hand? Do you have a question? Okay. So, what are we saying? So default, you would emphasize the ending, right? Now, the next word, how would you say it? Rajo Shankar? Is that how you say it? I'm sorry. Rajo. Okay. Okay. How would you say the next word? An
incline.
Correct. And then how would you say the verb?
To incline.
Correct. And incline to incline. And incline to incline. It sounds very similar. Some verbs and nouns, they sound very similar, but ரெண்டுமே almost same ஆ தெரியும். ஆனா வந்து அதுல கொஞ்சம் difference இருக்கும். But like, for example, the word conflict to conflict. அதுல வந்து நிறைய difference உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். A conflict to conflict. A contest to contest. You can notice a lot of difference between those two words. But a word like incline, you would say an incline to incline. Almost same, but there's a little difference. If it's a noun, you would emphasize the beginning, but if it's a verb, you would emphasize the end. So the next word, I think there's a big difference between the noun and the verb for this one. Let's see. Adil, can you do the next one?
Yeah. An object to object.
So the verb was correct. The noun is an object. An object. You all repeat it? An object.
An object.
Object.
Correct. An object. But if it's a verb, you would say to object. To object.
To object.
So I could say that this is an object, right? This is something. But if I'm objecting, then if someone is saying something, I would object it. I'm like, you're not right. That means to object. So an object to object have nothing in real, they're not related at all. The meaning is not related. An object is something. To object is saying, I don't want it. That's what you're saying. So the meaning is very different, but they're spelled the same and the pronunciation is different. The noun version is an object. The verb is to object, right? Okay, the next one, PERFECT. Let's see, let me pick one. Kevin, could you do that one?
Perfect.
And then the verb?
To perfect.
Correct. Sorry, I had a notification. That's right. Perfect to perfect, right? Perfect means you did, I can say, oh, Kevin, that was perfect. The way you pronounced it, that was perfect. To perfect is if I play the violin. So I can say, after so many years, I'm starting to perfect playing the violin, right? So that's the difference. Perfect to perfect. Perfect to perfect. Okay. The next one, how would you say the next one? Let me pick one person. Let's see. Shervin, could you do that one?
Produce. To produce.
Yes. So the noun version is produce. Produce. So if I'm going to the supermarket, I can buy groceries. If I'm getting like a tomato, an onion, those would be produce. Those are food items, right? But to produce is that I can say I like to produce music, or like I like to produce food or something like that, right? Produce is like groceries, the food that you buy from a supermarket. To produce is to do an action, like you're making something, right? Okay. The next one, let's see. Dekshia, how do you say it? Dekshia? Is that how you say it? Could you do the next one? If I pronounce it wrong, ni na tapa sonana, pero tapa sonana. Oh. Adil, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, it was my mistake. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Could you do the next one? Progress. You know, Dekshia?
Progress. Progress.
Yes. So noun would be, you would want to emphasize the beginning. So you would say progress. I'm making some progress after, I could say, I'm making a lot of progress after working on this project for a long time, right? But the verb, you would say to progress, to progress, to progress, progress, to progress, progress, to progress. So progress is the noun, to progress is the verb, right? So the next one, I actually gave this away when I was giving an example. Let's see, yeah, next. Vaibhav, last one, Pranav.
A project.
Mhm.
Project.
A project, that the noun is correct. The noun is perfect. A project, you want to emphasize the you want to higher your pitch. Project. But the verb, it would be project. Project. A project, to project. So if I've been working on a project, but if I want to use the verb form, I can say, well, let's see, let me think of one. I use the, oh yeah, in the movie theaters, they project the movie on the screen. In the screen, when you go to the movie theater, it's a big screen, right? With all the big movie. It's done because of a projector in the back. Okay, the projector projects the movie. So that's a really good example. A projector projects a movie. A project, project. Project, to project. Okay, so that's a noun, verb. Noun, if you have a noun, you want to emphasize the beginning. If it's a verb, then you want to emphasize the end. Okay, that's the difference between a noun and a verb. Now, the next one is intonation with nouns, adjectives versus verbs. So in the previous slide, we looked at nouns and verbs. Previous slide, nouns and verbs pronounce this slide, it's similar, but the thing is, nouns and adjectives work the same. So just like how we would, what's the right word? How we would emphasize the beginning of a noun and we would emphasize the ending of a verb, you would emphasize the beginning of an adjective as well. So an adjective is it's a verb, it's a word that describes a noun. Like if I say a red car, the car is the noun, the red is the adjective, right? So the way you would say this, if you see a word that ends in ate, ate, right? If you see that word ate, then you have to say it this way. இப்போ வந்து ஏடில ஒரு வேர்ட் முடியுதுன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, நவுன்ல பண்ணும்போது மட்டும் அப்படின்னு முடிக்கணும், அந்த சவுண்ட் முடிக்கணும். For example, the first one, right? Advocate, advocate, advocate. You would end the sound on a t sound. Advocate, advocate. Could we all repeat that? Advocate.
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 Correct. Advocate. You would end on the T. You would not say it as ate. You want to end on the T. Advocate. But if it's a verb, you would say to advocate. To advocate. You would pronounce the AT. Repeat after me. To advocate.
To advocate.
Advocate.
Correct. So if it's a noun, you would say advocate. But if it's a verb, you would say advocate. Advocate, to advocate. Do you see that? So if it's a noun, you would just want to pronounce it as a T, that sound. But if it's a verb, you have to say ate at the end, right? So the next word is animate. Animate. But if it's a verb, you would say to animate. The 8. Animate. 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 Okay. So let's do the next one. How would you say the next one, Rajov?
Alternate to
Mhm.
alternate.
That was perfect. Alternate, alternate. Alternate to alternate. Alternate, so to alternate. So I could say the alternate route, or the alternate direction. If I'm going on a trip, if I'm driving my car and I'm going on a trip, I would say it looks like that one ஒரு லைன்ல இருந்து நிறைய cars இருக்கு. I'm not able to use that lane. Then I would say, okay, I'm going to take the alternate lane. I'm going to take a different lane, alternate lane. But if I were to use it as a verb, I'm going to alternate my slideshows. I want to change my slideshows. Then I would say to alternate, alternate to alternate. Okay, next one. Sarah, could you do the next one?
Yeah. Appropriate to appropriate.
Yes, appropriate, appropriate, and then to appropriate. This is appropriate to appropriate. Okay, that's how we would say. You would, in English, we'll talk about this later, or not in English, in American accent, you would pronounce the R very strongly. We'll worry about that later, but just for the sake, you would say appropriate. If it's a verb, if it's a noun, you would say appropriate. Appropriate to appropriate. Okay. Next one. How would you say the next one? Kavya. I'm not sure if Kavya can hear me. Okay, that's fine. Kevin, how would you say the next one?
Which one, ma'am?
The one that starts with ARTICULATE. This one right here.
Articulate.
And then how would you say the verb?
To articulate.
Okay, so if it's a noun, you would say it as articulate. Articulate. You have to end in the t sound. Articulate. But if it's a verb, you would say to articulate. 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 Repeat after me, everyone. Articulate.
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 And then if it's a verb, you would say
Articulate.
correct. If it's a verb, you would say articulate. Say it. Articulate if it's a verb. Okay. So the next one is Adil, do you want to go?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Associate.
Mhm.
To associate.
Perfect. Associate to associate. Associate to associate. Okay. The next one, can anyone do it? Shervin, how about you?
Deliberate. Deliberate.
Deliberate. Do you have to end in the t sound? Deliberate. Deliberate. Deliberate to deliberate. Okay. So repeat after me. Deliberate. Deliberate
Deliberate.
to deliberate.
To deliberate.
Deliberate.
Correct. The next word, let me say this one. You would say it as discriminate to discriminate. Discriminate.
To discriminate.
Yes. So one way you could use a sentence is you could say he's a discriminate if he's being if he's being racist, we could say he's a discriminate. Or if it's just a verb, we would say don't discriminate others. Don't discriminate others. That's how we would say it. If it's a noun, you would say it as discriminate. If it's a verb, you would say it as discriminate. Okay, the next one. How about Rajo, you go.
Duplicate to duplicate.
That was perfect. duplicate to duplicate. Duplicate, duplicate. Okay. Next one, let's see. Vinochan, you go ahead.
Just a minute. Ma'am. Elaborate to elaborate.
Correct. Elaborate to elaborate. Elaborate and elaborate. Okay. Next one. Sarah, how about you go?
An estimate to estimate.
An estimate to estimate. Repeat after me. An estimate
An estimate
to estimate.
to estimate.
Yes. Okay. I think Kavya can hear me. Sure, I saw her respond. How about you do the next one, Kavya? Try to do it. Okay, it's fine. Let's see. Let me choose Shervin, how about you do?
Graduate to graduate.
The verb is correct. You would say the noun as graduate. Graduate. You have to end it at the T. Everyone repeat. Repeat.
Graduate.
Yes, that's perfect, Shervin. Everyone repeat. Graduate.
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 But if it's a verb, you would say to graduate.
To graduate.
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 Yeah, so I can use that in a sentence as I am going to be a graduate next year because I'm going to graduate next year. Then, if that makes sense. The next one is, let me do this one. Intimate to intimate. Intimate, intimate. Everyone repeat. Intimate.
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 To intimate.
Intimate.
Okay. Yep. And the next one is moderate.
Moderate.
Mhm. And then to moderate.
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 Okay, yes. And the next one is predicate.
Predicate.
Mhm. To predicate.
To predicate.
Yes. And the next one, last one is yes. The next separate.
To separate.
And the verb,
Separate
yes, the noun is separate. The verb is to separate.
to separate.
Perfect. Okay. So today we actually started late, which I'm so sorry about. Next week it's going to be right on time. I did not know how to work out Zoom because it was my first time. So let's do a few of these sentences and then we can stop. And then I wanted to say I am probably going to do only once a week because எனக்கு வந்து என்ன சொல்ல டைம் இருக்க மாட்டேது. I want to make them good so you guys can ஏன்னா வந்து நீங்க மட்டும் தான் எனக்கு கிளாஸ் கிடையாது, இன்னொரு கிளாஸும் நான் எடுக்கிறேன். இதுக்கு முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் எனக்கு ஒரு கிளாஸ் இருக்கு. அதனால வந்து எனக்கு ஒரே ஒரு one day per week. Is that okay? Because I have school stuff to do and I have other things to do too. But I also want to really do this. Is it okay if we do once a week?
Okay, Akka.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
works? Okay. நம்ம வந்து every Sunday பண்ணலாமா every Saturday பண்ணலாமா?
Sunday. No, because Saturday have some exams, right? That is my problem.
Yeah, I feel like Sundays work the best.
Actually, we have school on Saturday, so Sunday is better.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Monday is
Yeah,
better.
okay. I was going to say Sunday. Another reason I wanted to do it on Sunday or just once a week is because on Saturdays I noticed that not everyone's able to come. Everyoneால வர முடியல. அதனால வந்து it feels like I'm repeating the same thing over and over again because I want all of you to understand what we're doing. அதனால வந்து நேத்து படிச்சதே கொஞ்சம் இன்னைக்கு படிச்ச மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஏன்னா வந்து சில பேர் new, for example, Vaibhav was new today. I didn't want him to feel like he's not understanding anything. So once a week Sunday நாம் பண்ணலாம் okay ஏன்னா so everyone has the opportunity to join the sessions. Okay, so let me actually we only have like 2 more minutes, so let me do the first sentence. So the way you would say this is you need to insert a paragraph on this newspaper insert. I accidentally wrote the word heard that's not supposed to be there. You need to insert a paragraph on this newspaper insert. The next one would be, how can you object to this object? How can you object to this object? உன்னால எப்படி இது வேணாம்னு சொல்ல முடியும் அப்படின்னு கேக்குற மாதிரி இருக்கு. This word right here, the first object is a verb, so you have to emphasize the end. How can you object to this object? How can you object to this object? Right? The next one, next week we'll pick up on this, but then I'm going to do one more. I would say this as, I would like to present you with this present. I would like to present you with this present. Now, no, I'm bringing this present to you. That's basically what it means. Now, in the present, I would like to present you with this present. I would like to give this present to you. That's what it means. So basically, nouns, you would emphasize the beginning. Verbs, you would emphasize the end. That's what I try to teach you guys today. Okay. So we had less time today because I was trying to figure everything out. And next week, correct at 10:30. It's for me, it's 10:30. உங்களுக்கு beginning and 9 o'clock ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது.
Yes.
Okay, so 10:30 p.m. But for you guys, it's 9 a.m. next week. On Sunday, I'll send you guys a Zoom link, and it's going to be on 9 a.m. sharp. Okay?
Akka,
Yes.
could you please share this recording?
Yes, I will share the
WhatsApp?
recording. Yes. I might turn this into a YouTube video. I'll send it to you guys, but I might turn it into video so you can always look at it. Okay? That works?
Okay, Akka, thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys. See you guys next week. Okay?
Thank you, Akka. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Akka. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
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 Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.